A new survey coming out of the UK shows that Gen Z is struggling. And we're not talking about job prospects or ability to buy a home here, although obviously those are significant concerns. No, this has to do with the concept of menu anxiety in restaurants. Now, understand that this poll was conducted by a restaurant chain called Prezzo that I'm not familiar with, but here is what they apparently found by talking to 2,000 members of Gen Z. They found that 86% of Gen Z has been impacted by menu anxiety when dining in restaurants, compared to 67% of all respondents. So it is going up as we move to Gen Z. It's largely triggered by the cost of the meal, so there's a financial component here, not being able to find something they like on the menu and regretting what they ordered. Over a third of millennials said having too many options on a menu was also a trigger. By the way, 38% of Gen Z and millennials together said they would go to a restaurant if they hadn't looked at the menu beforehand. And a third of Gen Zers also said they ask other people to order at restaurants because of this anxiety. There's also fear, by the way, of not being able to pronounce things on menus, which I understand at certain places that could be a concern. Yaz, does this ring true to you? Have you experienced menu anxiety?
No, I haven't. No, not at all, actually. I'm a pretty solid millennial. I was born in 1988. So a lot of what goes on with Gen Z is maybe not as relatable to me as I think as I would have thought it would have been, like the young, not that I'm over here thinking that I'm so young and like hip or whatever, because I'm not, but a lot of their experiences are very different from the millennial experiences. And a lot of it comes from, I think, the way we grew up, but also the time in which we're coming of age, right? The millennial generation, when we came of age in the early 2000s, let's say, well, around the turn of the millennium, things were very different in that world than they are today. And I think with, social media and just the fact that people are on their phones and in their homes more than they were back then, even just 20 years ago, I think that is going to have, longer repercussions, wider spread repercussions across the greater society. And maybe this is a part of it, maybe not. But in that article, what I thought was interesting is they said, people have menu anxiety over the price of items. I think maybe that might be a bigger thing than people are just afraid to order items off the menu. Maybe things are just so expensive that people don't want to go. Maybe they have buyer's remorse if they don't like what they ordered because it was so expensive to order it in the first place, And I feel like they glossed over that part of the study a little bit.
Well, yeah, they acknowledge the financial aspect, but then they talk about other things that I agree really are financial things. You're just not being explicit about it. I don't think you would consider it such a high stakes choice if the money thing wasn't as big of a part of it. So look, some of this might be unique to the generation about maybe people just take food way more seriously because they've been growing up watching like people post pictures of it for so long and everything. I don't know. But I remember back before I had, had my career and everything, I used to worry more that I wouldn't enjoy something that I ordered because it was expensive. I think I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to food, and I think that people should lighten up a little bit about what they eat and try things and worry less. But the financial stuff I think is definitely accurate. And so while much of the media coverage of this poll seems to be designed to be like, oh, look at these Gen Zers, they can't exist in the real world because they can't make decisions. I think the takeaway that should be there is this is just another aspect of the difficult financial situation that young people have been put in, and there's really no area that it's not touching. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.